As I settled into the harsh rhythms of prison life, the cast of characters around me began to emerge from the shadows. Lisa, once an acclaimed artist, wore her brilliance in every precise movement, a stark contrast to the circumstances that had led her to a cell. She had defrauded influential patrons, an act of desperation that shattered her dreams. Then there was Jamal, a street-smart hustler with aspirations of writing a memoir about his life's misadventures. His charisma lit up the bleak yard during our shared moments. And Frank, the elderly lifer, became a father figure, offering wisdom steeped in regret and resilience. Each personality unfolded like a story in a book, their truths layered and complex, revealing how we were not merely defined by our crimes, but also by the humanity we clung to behind these walls. These interactions ignited sparks of connection, laying the groundwork for bonds that would only deepen in the days to come. As the days turned into a rhythm of routine, I discovered the depths of my fellow inmates through small moments that revealed their souls. Lisa, with her vibrant spirit dimmed by confinement, shared how her artistry had once illuminated her life. An audacious schemer, she blended cleverness with creativity, living large before one ill-fated gamble brought her here. Then there was Jamal, a street poet whose ink-stained fingers tapped out the dreams he dared not voice. His stories of hardship resonated. I could feel the weight of his aspirations for a memoir that would breathe life into his raw experiences. And Frank, the elderly lifer, possessed a wisdom that soothed the chaos around us. In his gravelly voice, he recounted tales of a world that had long forgotten him, but in his eyes lingered a flicker of hope. Together, amid the cold walls, we forged bonds that served as a fragile shield against the harsh realities of prison life. As the weeks unfurled into months, the initial uncertainty of prison life began to soften, revealing unexpected bonds that formed amidst the steel and concrete. I found solace in the laughter and shared stories with my fellow inmates, moments that brightened our confined existence. Lisa, with her infectious creativity, painted vibrant images with mere words, while Jamal spun tales of his childhood, breathing life into his dreams of becoming a writer. Frank, the seasoned inmate, often reminisced about his family over the aroma of shared meals, his warmth wrapping around us like a comforting blanket. One memorable afternoon in the yard, we orchestrated a makeshift talent show. Laughter echoed off the walls as we showcased secret talents, Lisa's poetry, Jamal's raps, and Frank's impromptu storytelling. For a fleeting moment, amidst the shadows of regret and confinement, we tasted a sweet reminder of joy and camaraderie, a thread connecting our disparate lives into a collective tapestry of hope. As the prison days turned into months, the initial excitement of camaraderie began to dissipate, replaced by the heavy fog of despair that enveloped us. In our dimly lit common area, surrounded by the oppressive stone walls, we frequently shared our struggles with redemption. Many inmates spoke of the lives they had left behind, those haunting what-ifs that echoed in the silence. Frank often reminisced about his grandchildren, their faces illuminated in his mind's eye, while Jamal articulated the burden of dreams unfulfilled, his memoir trapped within the confines of his reality. Each story unveiled layers of remorse that weighed heavily, yet in those moments of vulnerability, we began to forge bonds of understanding. It became clear that our journeys toward redemption often walked hand in hand with the courage to confront our pasts, illuminating paths of hope amid the shadows, and reminding us that change was still a flickering possibility in the darkness. As the months passed, the despair of confinement began to weigh heavily on the inmates, yet a flicker of hope emerged with the introduction of an educational program. Doc witnessed the transformation in his fellow inmates, their eyes lighting up at the prospect of learning and growth. Each class was a sanctuary, where the walls of the prison felt a little less daunting. Literacy and creativity flourished as Jamal poured his dreams into written words, while Lisa reclaimed her artistry through sketches. Frank, the elder statesman of the group, encouraged the younger men to share their stories, drawing from the depths of his own experiences. The struggle for redemption became palpable, as the shared goal of education united them. In those moments, the bleakness of their surroundings faded into the background, replaced by the vibrant aspirations that filled the classroom. Within those walls, the seeds of change were being sown, nurturing resilience and the belief in a better future. As the days bled into one another, the prison routine settled into a monotonous rhythm. Mornings began with the clang of metal doors, a stark reminder of the concrete walls that encased us. Meals were eaten in silence, the clattering of trays punctuating the heavy atmosphere. Yet in the midst of this drudgery, small moments injected life into our confinement. Once a week, a makeshift game night transformed the yard, laughter bubbling up like a much-needed escape. Whether it was a spirited round of cards or an impromptu storytelling competition, these pockets of joy became our lifelines. Doc observed how even the stiffest of personalities could crack a smile, their burdens momentarily forgotten. It was within these shared experiences that ties deepened, friendships forged in the fires of adversity. Amid the rigid structure, glimmers of hope shone through, reminding us that even behind bars, humanity thrives in connection and the quest for understanding. As Doc settled into the routine of prison life, he recognized the transformative power of storytelling. Inspired by his passion for literature, he initiated a series of literary discussions and writing workshops among the inmates. Each session became a sanctuary, a space where their voices could resonate beyond the cold walls surrounding them. Jamal eagerly shared snippets from his memoir, illustrating his struggles on the streets, while Lisa crafted poignant poetry that captured her lost dreams. The workshop fostered an environment of vulnerability, allowing the inmates to explore their emotions and confront their pasts through creative expression. Doc, in turn, found purpose in guiding them, witnessing how each word written acted as a small step toward healing. The resonance of their stories painted a vibrant tapestry of humanity, reminders that even within these confines, they could redefine themselves through the art of narrative, each tale a flicker of hope flickering against the despair. As the days turned into months, the weight of isolation began to seep into the cracks of my consciousness. The prison walls, once a mere backdrop to my life, transformed into a relentless reminder of my confinement. During these quiet moments, I often found myself lost in thought, pondering the choices that led me here. Many inmates struggled with their own demons, the echoes of loneliness amplifying their burdens. I could see it in their eyes, an emptiness that yearned for connection. One evening, in the stillness of our cells, a few of us gathered to share our feelings of isolation. With hesitant voices, we opened up about our fears, our past traumas, and the moments of joy that now felt so distant. It was a fragile bond forming amidst the despair, reminding us that even in our solitude, we were not truly alone. In that shared vulnerability, we found a flicker of hope. As darkness settled over the prison, we gathered in the common area, the flickering emergency lights casting shadows that danced across the walls. It was one of those rare moments of camaraderie that emerged during a power outage, prompting an impromptu gathering. One by one, we began to share our ghosts, the stories we buried deep, hidden beneath layers of regret and self-protection. Lisa spoke softly, her voice quivering as she revealed her childhood, marked by betrayal and loss. Jamal followed, recounting the harrowing day that sealed his fate, the weight of guilt heavy in the air. Each tale peeled back layers of bravado, exposing the vulnerability hidden beneath our hardened exteriors. In that darkness, the echoes of our past reverberated through whispered confessions, weaving a tapestry of shared humanity. It was a catharsis that bound us closer, reminding us that even in the bleakest places, our stories could illuminate the shadows. As the shadows lengthened in the dimly lit common area, a palpable shift occurred among the inmates. It was during one of those rare moments of solitude that Doc gathered with a small group, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of a flickering bulb. The conversation began cautiously, but as each inmate shared their stories, the atmosphere shifted from guarded reticence to raw vulnerability. Memories flooded back, tales of childhood laughter, the warmth of a mother's embrace, and the harrowing circumstances that had pulled them into their current reality. Doc listened intently as they revealed the deep scars left by estrangement, betrayal, and loss. The echo of their confessions hung in the air, weaving a tapestry of shared pain and yearning for connection. In those hushed whispers, a sense of catharsis emerged, reminding them all that even within these walls, hope could still flicker amidst the darkness of their pasts. The ghosts of their former lives lingered, but here, together, they began to find a semblance of peace. Time in prison weaves a tapestry of monotony and anticipation, where each day melts into the next, yet clocks tick with relentless cruelty. For the inmates, time becomes a double-edged sword, each tick a reminder of lost years, yet a whisper of hope for the future. As Doc watches another sunset from the yard, framed by steel bars, he senses the mixture of dread and desire that fills the air. Conversations swirl around him, tales of parole and freedom mingling with fears of the unknown. Inmates share their thoughts on what lies beyond the walls, a daunting prospect filled with uncertainty. For many, release feels both liberating and terrifying, as they grapple with reintegration into a world that's moved on without them. Each story reveals the deep scars of incarceration and the fragility of hope, reminding Doc that the journey doesn't end with freedom, but begins anew, in a society that often forgets those behind the bars. The tension in the air was palpable as inmate Ricardo prepared for his parole hearing, the anticipation weighing heavily on all of us. We gathered in the common area, making it a shared experience, each of us bound by hope and fear for what lay ahead. Doc led a discussion, easing Ricardo's nerves, reminding him of his growth throughout his time in prison. As we listened to Ricardo's story, the resonance of his dreams clashed with the reality of his crimes, sparking an intense conversation about second chances. Doc's reflective voice echoed our inner thoughts. The uncertainty of life after bars loomed large, filled with both the promise of freedom and the haunting shadows of their past mistakes. Eyes filled with tears and resolve met as we voiced our support, reminding each other that whatever the outcome, we had each forged an unbreakable bond within these walls. In that moment, hope flickered even brighter amid our shared struggles. As the days passed, the weight of resentment hung heavily in the air, unspoken yet palpable among the inmates. Doc knew that confronting their grievances could be the key to healing. He organized a group discussion, creating a safe space for sharing and confession. Inmates who once kept their emotions locked away were now willing to speak about the pain they held inside. Jamal, with tears in his eyes, shared his struggles of feeling abandoned by his family. Lisa offered her vulnerable admission of guilt regarding her past manipulations. Through this raw exchange, a sense of catharsis emerged, allowing them to release the shackles of bitterness. Doc facilitated acts of reconciliation, encouraging inmates to write letters or make peace with their past. Each story shared became a step toward redemption, reinforcing the bonds they had formed, proof that even amid confinement, the power of understanding and forgiveness could ignite hope and transform lives.